What's up, everybody? I just want to make sure that y'all can hear me. So if anybody is in the chat, I'm pretty sure we got a couple people in there at least right now. Let me know that you can hear me. We got femdot right here. Super excited to have him on. He just released a project not for sale recently. We're going to talk a little bit about that and some hip hop in general. So welcome to the show, man. It's an honor to have you on. I was just telling you that before, but Chicago hip hop has been huge in my life and huge in shaping my views and how I move. So it's huge to have you on because you've been huge in the Chicago scene for a while. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy being on the show, man.
Bro, like I really appreciate like how passionate you are. Dude, that shit raw. You feel me? So.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
Um,
Get right into it. What does hip hop mean to you? Why is it so important?
Man, hip hop it's a language, it's a conversation. Like it's obviously like a culture, but it's so much. It's its own entity at this point, and it is the thing that's shaped me. Probably one of the things that shaped me the most. Like I have so much of my life is attached directly to hip hop. Like things that I love, even outside of hip hop. The sports I love, like some of my favorite people. Like everything draws back to hip hop, and this is like hip hop was the first place I was able to, I feel like express myself as authentically as possible. So
Yeah. You mentioned sports. You watching the Bulls this year? They're going pretty
what?
crazy, huh?
What? I've been waiting. I've been wait. Look. So like I'm a real Bulls fan. Like we ain't doing none of that. Like we talking, you know what I'm saying? Like Eddie Robinson, Jay Wynn. Like I'm a real Bulls fan. So like when we got DeMar, I'm like, oh, it's lit. When we got, I wanted Lonzo for like 2 years. I wanted us to get Lonzo so bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to get him when he left from the Lakers. Then when we got Lonzo, I'm like, it's up. We got DeMar. I'm also a Spurs fan. Like
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
also naturally actually a Spurs fan. So I was watching DeMar in Popovich system. I'm like, bro, like he just don't really fit in his system. He don't fit in his system as well as Kawhi did.
Hmm.
But like he's still a bucket. So when we got him, I'm like, bro, I've not missed a game. Like what? Oh my god, we winning the ship. I don't care what nobody say. I don't. Y'all gotta let me just be happy.
I'm ready for it too. It's funny you mentioned Popovich too. He's from Maryville, Indiana, and I'm from Chesterton, Indiana, which is like a couple
Okay,
towns over in Northwest
yeah,
Indiana. So his roots are like over there, and we call it the region over there. So
yeah.
he's one of the
I
region
never
guys.
knew. I never knew he was from Maryville. Yeah, that's
Yep.
crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, that makes some sense though, for sure.
Hell yeah. So what kind of music were you listening to growing up? What kind of inspires your sound today a little bit?
I was playing a lot of like I grew up listening to like hella just like I guess hip hop, like what people be categorizing and shit. Like my oldest brother used to play like hella like big, like not a Nas. I mean, Hove is like my man, like is like the greatest of everything in history of anything. Like so, I grew up on Hove, like Nas a lot, DMX. Like Mobb Deep was big in the crib. My parents played a lot of like Nigerian music, like Fela Kuti and King Sunny Ade. And then like I'm Muslim too, so like it'd be a lot of like Arabic in the house.
Hmm.
And and then like my sister played pretty much all R&B, so like Jodeci, SWV, Black, 702, Total, like Missy Elliott's one of like my favorite people of all time. Like yeah, so it was a hella R&B in the house and hella like 90s rap in the house.
Hmm.
And then as I got older, like I like got into like I found my way into Tribe, but I also found my way into Gucci Man and Wayne and like Bump J. I remember I used to play Bump J before every basketball game. Like used to like buy his mixtapes off of like at like the barbershops and shit. Like
Hell yeah.
so like and obviously Kanye and like I was around for like I remember finding Drake on MySpace and like I found J Rock and finding Kendrick through J Rock. And like so like it kind of like shifted through to the point where I was just like finding all types of new music, but like my initial introduction into music was like Nas, Jay, DMX, and then like Jodeci and like fucking Mary J. Blige and like Casey and like Case and shit like that.
Okay. Word. So where does the name femdot come from, and what is the proper spelling of it? I think I got it right on the stream. It's all lowercase with a period at the end, right?
Yeah.
Words.
So, yeah, Femdot is a family nickname. I've been Femdot like damn near my whole life. I was named by my siblings. So that's where it come from, and then variations of Femdot, or all the variations of Femdot has speared from that. But yeah, Femdot is a family nickname. Like my siblings named me Femdot when I was a shorty, and people would come by the house, and somebody said in the hallway one day at school, and it stuck, and that's and I've been writing rhymes for forever, so that's what it is. But yeah, it's spelled all lower cases with a dot at the end. That's how it's spelled. That's how it's stylized, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Said you've been writing rhymes forever. Speaking of that, my next question was exactly when was the first time that you realized that your art could have an impact on other people?
that's actually a good question. The first time I think I realized my art can impact like other people was 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011. 2011, I dropped a mixtape that exists somewhere online called A Tribe Called Fresh. And it like trended on Twitter. And this is like, this 2011 Twitter, you know what I'm saying? It's a different Twitter, you feel me? Trending was meant a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, and people was like really rocking with the songs. So I think that was a moment where I was like, damn, this shit can really impact people. That was like the first time I seen that in real time. So I'll say 2011, yeah.
That's fire. What does it mean to you to be from Chicago? Such a amazing city.
I mean, like, it's so much culture here. It's so much love here. I tell people all the time, like, everything that's good and everything that's bad in the world can be found right here, And I think it's really just like an honor to be able to even like tell these stories that go on here, right? And like try to be as authentic as possible. Cause like my growing up, my experiences that I see are really different because like like I'm attached to like the north side of Chicago and like the south suburbs of Chicago. So it's like all of my I have a very like specific lens that I feel like I could bring a narrative that's not there. So it's just like it's such a joy to be embraced by home and like people to allow me to tell their stories and tell my stories that like can reflect a city like this, and bring a different perspective or a different light, or even just like it's given me so much. Like I wouldn't be rapping if I wasn't in Chicago. Like I wouldn't be myself. I wouldn't be who I am. Like there's nothing about me that would be the same had I been born in Oakland or some shit. So I'm forever grateful for Chicago for allowing me to be myself.
Word. You actually said those exact words, that you can get the best out of Chicago and the word, like the good things are here and the worst things are here. You said that in a studio session with Stock one time, and I was like,
oh yeah.
Bro, the way you talked about the city was unbelievable. Like it was on to a T, like perfect.
Yeah,
So
man.
it's for you to have these like come here and say that on the show officially is just like full circle, pretty dope. That's cool.
That's really how I see it. Like it's a microcosm for everything good and bad in the world, man. Like all the joy you can find it here, all the pain you can find it here, all the love, all that you can find whatever you need in this area, in this radius, like in the Chicago land radius for real. Like so.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out Stock, he's actually in the chat right now. Glad you're
Man.
here.
Shout
Thanks for
out
stopping
Stock.
by, man. So these next few questions, I've got 4 of them. My brand is pretty heavily surrounded around the tree. It's in the logo. And there's 4 parts that I have to the tree that kind of represent aspects of life. And I have questions that correlate to those to kind of get to know you a little better too. The first part of the tree is the roots. Those represent your core values. They hold you down as a person. They help you grow. So what would be a few of the core values that define you?
Authenticity, integrity, loyalty, and I think I don't know if this is, I guess, like some level of being responsible. Like I'm always a responsible friend. So like yeah, I think those are and I guess like faith. I will really walk by faith. Like I really walk by faith. Like shit really happened because like I put my faith in God and kind of just like put my work in and let the rest show. So
Word. The next part of the tree is the body of the tree, just like the tree trunk holds you up. Why? And it represents the people that you keep around you, your team, whether it's inside of music, outside of music, whatever it may be. Why is it in people? Why is it that it's important to keep people around you that are close to you and have the same mindset?
Because the people around you can dictate your mindset. They say if you're hanging around somebody, enough people who are thinking a certain way, you're gonna start thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
You hang around people, you start picking up their mannerisms, their ideas. Like, I just hang around people who gonna keep me accountable or gonna push me to be better. Mostly just accountability, or like even when I make music, I don't ask if it sounds good. I ask if you can hear me in it, right? Like, these are the people who know me the best. So, like, can you hear me in this music? So just, yeah, I keep people around. I keep people, a lot of people around from childhood. There's people around from all different variations of my life. I make sure they all get along with each other. Like community is extremely important, and I think to have people in your corner who want the best for you, and not even just like financially or spiritually or whatever, but just like wanting to see you continuously evolve as a person is I think that's one of the main ways you're going to do so.
Definitely. Going up the tree, you got two more parts. The branches are next, and they represent the experiences that you've had in life. Some of them take longer, some of them are short experiences. What's an experience that you're most proud of so far that your music has brought you?
The experience I'm most proud of so far is related to music, but kinda it's actually based on like starting the Scholar Slide By grocery delivery service that we did in 2020,
Okay.
where we were able to like deliver groceries to a bunch of families in Chicago. And that was like to be able to like orchestrate a system like that, and like see community work, and like to really see like the city really take care of itself, was really raw, and to be a part of that was really raw. Like, that's some shit I could tell my kids, like, and we're gonna try to continue to do that. So it's cool that it started like that, out of like a necessity, or out of like really a negative situation, like with everything that was going on in the world, and still shit going on in the world. But that was probably my proudest moment. And the reason why it even relates to music is because people trusted me enough to give me money because of what I say over beats, and I was able to use that money to help where I'm from.
Word.
So
That's so cool. Finally, the last part of the tree is the leaves that fall off the branches, and those are the lessons that you take from those experiences. So what would be a lesson that you learned maybe kind of early in life that you might think about more often than other lessons that you've learned?
being me works. Being me as possible works every time, in every scenario, in every situation. That is something that I learned early on, that I leaned into. Like, I leaned into my personality, I leaned into who I was, and it's never sent me astray. And I think even when I second guess myself, like, all of the biggest songs I have, all of the biggest moments I have usually come at for people liking me as a person, or me just being me, not even, So it's like being me works. Being you, because it's not even about me. Being you, being authentically yourself works every time.
Yeah, that's definitely like one of the main lessons that hip hop taught me. That's something that I didn't like learn until I was in college, and I was trying to please other people and do things for them, and bringing hip hop into my life made me realize, like, damn man, just be yourself. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So that's
Hip
crazy
hop
that you
would
say
do
that.
Hip hop would do that, especially when like people are telling their stories, and they like, it's crazy because you'll listen to somebody like Nas, or somebody like even like a King Von or something, and like, yo, these are very specific stories about your life, right? But for some reason, I can relate to you too, or I can see the human in you too, right? Like, so it's like, yeah, that shit raw.
Man, I had this question slated for a little later, but speaking on that and kind of relating to the music, I had tweeted at you about the fund and broken interlude a while back, about how important that shit was to me. Man, I was listening to that shit in the car. I was driving. I damn near had to pull over, like, with my wife in the car, because that shit hit me so hard. Like, she was like, "We should listen to Femdot Project," and I was like, "All right, let's do it." And that song came on, and I was like, "God, man, dude, I was balling for a good 3 minutes. The whole song, man. Like, that shit hit home so hard. So it's just
Crazy.
how hard is it to release a song like that that does have so many emotions in it that the whole world could potentially see?
Man, that's definitely the most vulnerable song I've ever released. Not written, but
Mm.
definitely released. And but it's like, damn, maybe somebody else going through some shit, you know? Yeah, it's tricky at first because I made it and I knew I had to really when I made it because the song old as hell. When I made it, I held on to it. I'm like, I know I have to release it at the right time.
Mm.
Um, so it's tricky because like, damn, this shit hard, but like this shit is a lot. Like I was down bad making that shit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so. But it's cool, like, to know to put it out in the world and know people either are in that place, have been in that place, can relate to that place, have never had the words to say how they felt in that space. You know, there's so many aspects that like kind of reassure. One thing music could do as an artist, um, you know, it has the ability to very much reassure you that you're not alone in how you feel or in your process. The same way that as a fan, when you listen to music, you're reassured that you're not alone in your process, and that's why you relate to it, right? So
Yeah.
it works both ways. But yeah, that was a tough one, man. But I knew it had to come out. But that was a tricky one.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons I respect you so much is because you went through school and did the artist thing at the same time. I mean,
Yeah,
there's videos and pictures of you doing finals and shit in the green room, getting ready for a show and writing
yeah.
papers and all that. Um, have you always been disciplined like that? Is that something that you had to learn? How do you how does that go about?
That was a gift and curse of growing up in a first generation household. Like
Okay.
I'm very much, for lack of better words, type A. Like I plan out everything. Um yeah, so that kind of with that, I've always been a pretty disciplined person. Um And yeah, if I pretty much set my mind on something, like, and I feel like there's always a way to figure out how to do it. So it's just like executing at that point. And then when I came back, when I was in college, that was the word of college, like execute. Like it's like in my crib right now, like written on the wall. It says like execute is the word. Because you can plan all day, but you got to execute stuff. So, you know, and with execution comes discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you have to figure shit out. But I've always kind of been like that because I've always had hella shit on my plate. I always tried to balance so much. And it's like, all right, well, you need to be disciplined enough to be able to do the fun shit you want to do, the bad shit you want to do, the good shit you want to do. Like all that shit you gotta have some sort of direction. So
Word. During those times that maybe you're not feeling so well, how do you pick yourself up on a day that you are lacking that motivation to execute? Is there
um
like somebody you call or maybe a process you go through or
I talk to my friends sometimes. That's actually, to be transparent, that's something I still work on. Like
yeah.
on days where I'm not feeling my best, especially like if I can't write or something. But I like to clean. I'm not a neat freak, but I like things to be clean.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll clean my crib. Like a clutter, I always know a clutter room is a clutter mind. So like I clean my space up. Um, I like buy myself some flowers or like, literally do some, what I'm saying, some stuff to kind of just make me feel like a person, I think. Instead of like, because usually if I'm down, I'm overwhelmed or like I'm not feeling the way. It's either like it's a lot going on in life and I'm trying to figure out how to like manage it all or try to be fucking Superman or whatever and try to like deal with and help everybody or deal with shit. Or like I just feel like I'm overworking myself and I'm not even having a chance to really be a person. So I've been trying at least to implement things that remind me like, okay, like, make sure my space has good energy. Like one thing I do every day. So I like always have music on in my house, like all
Mm-hmm.
the time. And like I leave music on when I leave. So I walk into like music playing and I feel like I'm in a fucking movie, and it seems like real like minuscule or whatever, but like when I walk in this bitch like I got a vibe already set. Like even if I'm having a bad day, I'm walking in, it's Sir playing or some shit. Like, all right, I'm chill now. Like it's
Yeah.
because that's when the power music has to make a soundtrack for your life. But it's cool to know when I get home, I know I'm going to walk into an environment that's like peaceful. So I've been trying to like do shit like that.
Word. The winners of your scholarship are supposed to be announced next week, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Awesome. Can you just speak on the importance of that program overall and how you give back to the community?
Yeah, man. It started really, we was shit. I was broke as hell in college. Like I was in college broke as fuck. Like I had hella loans and shit. Like I ain't had that many scholars. Funny enough, I thought I was gonna go to school for free, and if I would have did it the right way, I would have, but I didn't. So I ended up with hella, loans and shit.
Hmm.
I remember having to like jump through hoops and shit to try to get fucking financial aid or funds, especially in the middle of the year.
Mm.
Like that's when they put holes in your account, or you try to schedule classes for the next semester. So while I was finishing school, I'm like, I wrote on my wall maybe like in 2014, 2015, like I wanted to make a scholarship, like while I was still in school. So by my senior year, I'm like, all right, cool, let's do that. So, put a show together, and then we donated the proceeds. And then from there, we just been trying to expand once I figured out how to do it. So now it's just like being able to create a resource that I didn't have by having some sort of funds in the middle of the year. And I don't care about your GPA. I don't give no fuck about none of that shit. Like we're based on people. Like even try to be as radical as possible. So like, scholarships, you get your funds in the middle of the year because that's when no one has a scholarship. That's when financial aid runs out. We always open up, you know what I'm saying, right around then, right before Thanksgiving break. Some people have finals, so we extend it till right before Christmas. So you still at least got some time, you know what I mean, to get everything in, while you have breaks. Essays are never more than a page or two, like our topics are more or less like conversation pieces. So even if you're not awarded, you at least had a moment to think about, reflecting yourself. Like I think like the first ever essay prompt was like you have a 300-page autobiography, submit page 217.
Hmm.
Or like what is something that you've always wanted to tell somebody but you're afraid to do, right? Like so it's
Okay.
like so even if so it's not like a regular, oh, like what is a hardship you faced, or how does this make you, nah, like what is, I want you to, even if you don't um win, or not even win, because I it's not even a winning thing, but even if you're not awarded the scholarship, you at least have had a moment to like take some self-reflection, and you could probably apply that to your life later.
Yeah.
um so yeah, so we just trying to like be the resources we didn't have, and try to show people that it's possible to build and grow, and help people without having to like get to some like super elite status to do so.
That's amazing, man. Super inspirational too. Definitely makes me want to be able to do more when I grow my platform for sure as well. So,
Yeah, for sure.
um, kind of speaking a little bit to 94 Camera Music, it was a super, super important, amazing project. Is there anything that you learned from that to making Not for Sale that you had to like maybe adjust your approach or anything that changed at all?
I finally figured out my voice.
Okay.
Like only took hella years, but I finally figured out my voice in a way that I really liked it. And touring with that project taught me a lot about my voice too, and how to kind of like perform on records so that I can completely match that live. I do a pretty good job of matching my voice live and not live. But that pro that that project really solidified like what works for me, like even like rapping for my diaphragm and things of that sort. And um, yeah, I mean, also reiterated the whole like being me works. The biggest song is a 3-verse song. You know what I mean? That's not that ain't got that barely got an 808 in it. Like um, so yeah, just taught me a lot about being me works, but also like okay, I like my voice. Now let's try some things,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know my middle ground. I know my bass. I'm starting to hear things. I'm starting to hear keys. I'm starting to hear notes. I'm starting to like hear things more musically. So let's try some things. I think the biggest thing probably outside of just like the ability to grow and knowing that, trusting and believing in what I want to do, and sticking to, how we feel about things as a team.
Mm-hmm.
I think other than that, the biggest thing is that I think I figured out my voice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a set way of writing? Like do you go about like, are you always writing in a book? Are you writing when you get to the studio, after you hear the beat that you're gonna go on, or do you have stuff that you will take in and like try to find a beat for?
Yeah,
How
it's
does that
pretty
work?
much it's pretty I pretty much it was even worse when I was younger. But like now it's slowed down because I be doing so much other shit. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
always writing. I'm
Yeah.
always writing. So 90% of the songs I have, I write to beats that aren't the songs I have. Like
Okay.
I have a natural metronome in my head that I write to. I kind of just write. So I still write on paper a little bit, but obviously phone is like the quickest way to type something up. But I still write on paper from time to time. Uh, but yeah, I write. I do like I'm in the studio. Let's say I hear a beat, and I may sift and find a line or two, or find something, and then complete the song. But usually, I got full verses ready. I write pretty fast. So like, if I get a groove, or if a word or some phrase hits me, you'll look up. It's like 40 bars or some shit. Like write pretty fast.
Yeah.
But I try to always have some verses on me wherever I go.
Yeah.
Always. Like so, if I walk into a session, like and some beats playing, like I'm listening to what the beats, because the beauty about producers, right, and what makes them amazing artists is that either the beat is a space that tells you for me, it tells me what story I need to tell, or like it's already complete and it's already telling me a story and I don't need to add nothing on it. Like a lot of Jay Dilla beats, like I don't want to hear nobody rap on it. It's already a story I need to hear. I just close my eyes and it's a story already there, right?
Yeah.
But then in other cases, like the beats I rap on, it'll be like I'll hear this and like, wow, you left space for me to like fill this in, like to help complete this story fully. So when I hear something, if something clicks, we just go from there. Or maybe I'll be in a studio with somebody and they'll feed an idea off me and we go from there. Um, I just started voice noting like a lot, like I wasn't voice noting anything for years, which I don't know why I was making my life more difficult. I just started voice noting, I think, with 94 Camera Music, and
Okay.
because I record at home too, so I did most of the last like 3 projects. I did most of them at home, so I just be in the house just trying shit. But yeah, I always pretty much have verses ready. I try to just stay with as many verses as possible.
Word. What was your favorite song to make off the project?
Off Not For Sale.
Yeah.
Favorite song to make. Uh, it's either Unleaded or like Unleaded Love Cause, or it was probably the intro, like in terms of fun. Digits was fun as hell to make too, because I was like hype as hell in the house.
Yeah.
But the intro was cool because like it was a whole process. Like that intro was a snippet of a whole nother song,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
So and then getting Alex on it and doing that. Sacrilegious was fun too though. I mean, that was
Okay.
fun. That was a fun joint because we had to like rebuild everything from scratch and shit. So
Was it a different producer for every single song on the project?
um moderately. Hush Forte got 2 records.
Okay.
And it's this producer named The Ether. He got like 3 or 4, but also like for Unleaded, there's 2 producers on it. And like yeah, there's like there's a couple songs where like there are multiple producers. But so I think The Ether and Hush Forte have the most on the project, and then other than that, it's like kind of just a mix of a group of producers.
Word. Who are some underrated producers from the city we should look out for, would you say?
Charles Loss, I think he is. I think he's one of. I think Charles Loss, Fifth of Hand, Ty made it. Vision, Vision's crazy. I'm trying. There's so many. It's so many dope ass producers. My friend Nate.
Hell yeah.
It's a lot of really dope produce. Go Hayes, what the fuck? That nigga's amazing. Go Hayes, amazing. Um, yeah, there are a lot of really Roma Salad. Like it's a lot of really good producers in the city. Who I think are crafting a real different sound. But yeah, definitely like us as producer, Holy Beats is hard. Um, yeah, it's a lot of really good producers out here. Um, sure.
Word. What's your favorite thing about being in the studio?
Uh, it's just I think it's I like being in a different space to create. Like I be dimming the lights and shit. Like I be it's cool to just um it's like going to work, but like it's fun. Like I don't really have sessions where like it's hella people in that bitch, or like we in that bitch partying. Like I'm trying to spill my feelings, bro. Like even if we partying or kicking it, whatever, like everybody in the studio is doing something, like or
Yeah.
you trust their ear or something like that. So I very much like when it's a community aspect in there, but also very much like being vulnerable and it's just me and the engineer or it's just us and we able to craft some shit, especially now that I've learned more language to like really get across what my idea is. So to watch it come to life in real time from what's in my head to what I'm hearing in the physical is insane. That should be crazy to me.
Word. How important is it to have a good relationship with the producer that you're in? Have you ever been able to walk into, I guess, a studio and you've never met the producer or never had a relationship with them and make something great, or is it more or less you have to have a relationship with them to try to make something with them?
I mean, I've definitely worked with people. Like I tend to work with people I know for sure. Like, I like building authentic relationships, but I mean, yeah, like the it's a lot of people who like we may talk on the phone or may had a conversation. Like, oh, this is good energy and make some shit, but I don't know them. Like we would know. Like Funds was one made before 94 Camry Music the song, although they're both made by the same producer. Funds was the first song we made together, which was crazy. I'm like, never am I doing this a vulnerable ass song the first time I meet this nigga. Um, but also like, yeah, like when I started working with Hush, I didn't know nothing about him, but his energy was good.
Yeah.
Like energy was good, so I flew to Florida. Like you know how good your energy gotta be to get me to Florida. Um, so it's like I'm not anti working with new people that don't like even the Ether who produced Bussin', he produced Unleaded and another joint, and I still have yet to meet him in person. First time we had an actual conversation was when I was telling him that Bussin' was gonna be on Colors. Like we've never met in person, but like he was sending beats. I really rock with the beats and through email it was cool. So I'm not like anti working with new people. I just be I don't know, my discernment be like, all right, like what's the vibes like like because I know if I especially if I'm walking in the studio session and working with people for the first time, like I'm gonna be me regardless. Like I'm gonna write what I need to do. I'm gonna try to bring as good energy as possible. So it just can't be weird in there.
Yeah. Has the pandemic changed how you have to approach studio sessions at all, or like how often you're able to
Yeah,
go, or like how
yeah,
that
for
works? You
sure.
know?
Yeah, especially early on, like early on in the pandemic, people weren't having sessions. You're having virtual sessions, or like, you're not really able to just pop in everywhere. Now it's, you're able to kind of still get up with people and move and stuff, but everything has changed post pandemic. So,
Yeah.
or not even post pandemic because we hella still in this motherfucker.
Yep.
Um,
Definitely.
but yeah, so it's a little different.
What's your favorite place that you've been able to go because of the music? Like either tour or like a I don't know photo shoot or like working with a company or something like that. Where's the coolest place you've gotten to travel so far?
I mean, the coolest place I've technically got to travel off music is Nigeria because my rap paid for me to go home. Like I paid for that trip of rap money.
So that was I think I watched another that was at the end of 2019. You went right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that was the coolest shit. Like I was able to, like I wasn't never able to go as a child. We try to go, couldn't afford to go, whatever. Circumstance will not allow me to go. And the first time I went was all rap money. That was the coolest thing that has happened.
That's awesome. I just got a couple more questions here for you.
Yeah.
What are three artists that you would really like to collab with in the near future?
Missy Elliott, really bad. Want to work with Missy Elliott, so but it's gonna happen. I just gotta figure out, yeah, Missy Elliott. I want to work with. I want to do a record with Herb. I think that'd be cool. Because I really Herb is probably one of my favorites in the city that I like. Am not personally like attached to. And I feel like I'm mapping them out between like larger term goals, smaller term goals, like immediate goals, or some shit like that. I feel like that's how I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I would love to work with Jasmine Sullivan. I love Jasmine. I love her so much. Like she's so crazy to me. But I wouldn't even know how to approach that. I'd just like give her an interlude or some shit. Like here, just take this and just. So I think those three people pop. There's a bunch of people, obviously like Jay-Z, Nas, Kendrick, like all like stuff like that. But like, I really want to work with Missy. I really want to work with her. I really want to work with Jasmine Sullivan and like ran like SWV or like Casey and JoJo or somebody like random as hell. Like I think that'd be raw.
Yeah, that's fire. Are we gonna get any merch for Not for Sale anytime soon? Is
Oh
that
yeah, for
coming up?
sure. Yeah, for sure. We gonna we
Hell
gonna we
yeah.
gonna have some we gonna have some merch. You know, we probably gonna have some vinyls at some point too. Like
Ooh, I was just gonna ask. I got the '94 Camry one. I definitely got to get the Not for
yeah,
Sale one. I know
you
the
gotta
vinyl
have
industry's been tough to deal with lately. People getting stuff
yeah,
pressed, and it's been
yeah.
rough. So you just got to find
Adele,
the right
Adele,
one.
Adele pushed everything back, like you know what I'm saying, like a couple months,
Yep.
but you know, I definitely wanna get some vinyl. Definitely gonna have some merch together,
Nice.
and getting that going and shit too. So,
Other than streaming the project right now, what's the best way people can support you?
right now, I mean, yeah, streaming the project, telling a friend, stuff like that. We are gonna have we're having a headline show out here. But
Sick.
we're gonna end up actually pushing it back. Probably gonna announce today, but we're gonna end up actually pushing it back just to be responsible with all the stuff that's going on with COVID.
Yeah.
So we'll announce a later date for that. But yeah, I think yeah, coming out to the show, and yeah, just playing the project for people and telling your friends. Like that's probably the biggest way to support at this time. But the merch gonna be there. You know, what I'm saying all the other stuff gonna be there, and then you know, yeah, supporting the scholars too. So donating to the scholars and shit like that.
Word. Last question I ask every single artist that comes on. What does truth mean to you?
Truth means to me, partially part of that is like a freedom. It's a lot of freedom in being true. Um, and I think just being able to um, live your life without regrets, I guess.
Word.
Yeah.
I like it. Live your life
Uh,
without regrets. Never want to regret anything. That's the worst.
right? You
Pondering on
know?
shit that you should have or shouldn't have done. It's like, damn.
Exactly. It's tough.
Is there anything like that you've done that like maybe could speak on that maybe you regret that you wish you wouldn't have done, or something you wish you would have done different that like could help somebody that's coming into this right now or that's thinking about doing something like this?
I mean, I wouldn't say I regret anything. I wish I didn't sell all the shoes I had when I was a shorty because a lot of them are worth a lot more money now. But overall, yeah, it's not really much I can say I like blatantly regret because it's you know the cliche. It's brought me to this point or whatever.
Yeah.
But, um, I will say help, get help. Can't do everything yourself.
Word.
Get help. Like it's okay to ask, and especially in Chicago, motherfuckers don't be want to ask you for shit. Like you need to. Everybody too damn tough. Like no, it's okay to get help. I think that's something I wish I knew earlier, or I embraced earlier.
Word.
Like it's okay. Like it's okay to get help. Things happen in community. Get help.
Good advice. I
Yeah.
definitely need it.
You know what I'm
I need
saying?
to ask for help sometimes, man. I just sit there
Yeah.
in silence, just
Yeah, you gonna just
not
suffer.
asking.
You gonna suffer in silence, man. And it's like worse than like and if you plan things out, you don't gotta ask people to help with much. Just this thing.
Word. Well, shit, man. I really appreciate you coming on. It means the
No,
world again. And if you want to come on again later, just have Elliot hit me up, and you
no.
know, anytime you want to just come on and talk your truth, that's what the platform's for. So even if you don't got a project coming out, you got something to say to the people, man. Just let them
Say
know.
less. Say less. No, I appreciate you for sure.
Word. I'll send some links to everybody in the chat so they can help the scholarship program and follow you
Yeah,
on all your
please
socials and
do.
everything. So all right,
Please do,
man.
man.
It's great
Thank you.
talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Good talking to
We'll
you
catch
too,
up
man.
soon.
Yes, sir. You have a good rest of your day.
All right, take it easy, fam.
Yep.
All right, that was femdot. That was cool. Super honored to have him on the show. I've been following his music for a while now, so and he's super important to the city of Chicago. So that was really cool to have him on. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I will have this interview up on YouTube ASAP. And I think we got Corey Rymal coming on next week on Monday. He released a project recently. I'm blanking on the name. This is really bad for me because I should just know the name, but I always get nervous when I'm live on stream. Since You Don't Know Me, that's what it is. He's got a project called Since You Don't Know Me we're going to talk about on Monday. I'm pretty excited about that one. Corey Rymal's been on the stream before. He's Stock Marley's roommate. They both make amazing music. Appreciate you coming by, Stock, listening in on that whole interview. That means a lot. Appreciate that, man. We're trying to get we got another big name hopefully coming up soon too. I just sent over some dates and times for another artist that has been on the Talkin' Truth playlist and means a lot to me too. I don't want to say any names right now because I don't want to make any promises that I can't fulfill, but hopefully we'll have another really big artist name coming up here on the stream soon. And then Corey Rymal's coming up on Monday. Really pumped to talk about his new music. He's evolved his sound a lot, and he is one of my favorite Chicago artists as well. So it'll be good to chop it up with him and catch it up. And yeah, man, I really appreciate everybody that stopped by the stream. I keep repeating myself again, but yeah, we're gonna end it for now, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks for stopping by.